All right, guys, we are on episode 32 of Love Island. Our show is ending on Sunday. We got the word. It is officially ending on Sunday. I can't believe that we only have Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. 3 more days because tomorrow, Wednesday, and Saturday there is no show. So we got to savor these 3 episodes coming up because the end is near. But anyway, we're here to talk about episode 32. And this episode started obviously with Amaya and Brian heading into the hideaway. And there was a hot tub set up, there was a furry bed, and it matched her shoes. And it was so funny because when they were in the hot tub, instead of saying cheers, Amaya was like, cheers to us. Amaya Papaya. Speaking of Amaya Papaya, Fenty Beauty, Rihanna's makeup skincare line, followed Amaya today. Amaya is going to be booked and busy when she gets out of the villa. Like, all these brands are following her page, and I'm pretty sure they're hitting up her DM. She was the only Islander that didn't have anyone running their account. Like, everyone had somebody running their account for them as they got into the villa. She didn't have no one. She just left her page as is. So that is insane. She's going to come back to, I don't even know how she's going to get through all those messages. But nonetheless, I hope she gets through them because I have reached out to every single Islander. I'm hoping to interview some of them, so stay tuned for that. So even once my reviews are over, make sure you're following because there will be some interviews dropping. So then we go into Taylor and Clark talking, and Clark is like, do you have any wedding plans? I'm like, what the hell? He actually has wedding plans. He wants all his guests wearing a cowboy hats, like a cowboy theme, and they're talking about color scheme. Sorry guys, I got the hiccups. And I'm not gonna rewind and stop talking to then whatever, let me just keep on going with this review. So they're talking about color schemes and all that good stuff. Taylor in the confessional says that he's feeling like he wants to close things off with Clark, and he feels like he's been knowing her for years. I am so happy for Clark. Like, I know we were off to a rocky start, and I say we because we, the viewers, we connect with these people, whether it's friendship wise or just relatability or whatever the case may be. We grow to become their friends virtually as well as the people in the house. They just don't know that we're their friends. Taylor at some point used to annoy me, but he has really shown growth in this show, in this season, and I'm just really happy for him and Clark. Then we see a little quick moment with Pepe telling the guys that when he first stepped into this house, he never imagined, you know, building a connection with anyone, and well, here he is. I know he was talking about Iris, but he had a connection with Hannah. Now he's slowly building that connection with Iris. Like, it's crazy because it's only been 2 days if you really think about it. Not 2 days literally, but I'm saying 2 episodes. But they haven't really had a long connection. But I guess in essence they were friends throughout the journey, and they did come in together as friends. I had forgotten about that. So I mean, I feel you. I guess anybody going into the house, even if your intention is to find a love connection, you in life, you can dream about things, you can have goals, you can have thoughts, you can have wishes, whatever. You can work towards something that you know is going to happen. But when it happens, it is a completely different feeling, and it is surreal. So I guess I understand what he's saying. So then Amaya and Brian come back to the villa, and everybody's screaming and cheering, and Brian's telling the guys that he felt like he lost his virginity, the journey was incredible, and their connection feels deeper. And Amaya's telling the girls, we definitely went on our journey. And Orlando's like, how many journeys did you go on? And she's like, 2 back to back. It was magical and majestic. I hate to feel like I'm being negative when I say certain things. And it's not being negative. It's just so damn fast to me. Like, it's just moving way too fast, Brian and Amaya. But I guess in life, sometimes you just have that connection with someone and it can be instant. But I just hope Brian means well with her. I hope he really is into her and he's not doing this to win this competition. So then Chris gets a text, get ready to bounce. It's a 3-on-3 game with the guys. No girls allowed, so they're basically playing basketball. And it's basically Ace, Pepe, and Brian. And then it's Taylor, Nick, and Chris. And you know, Chris is the ball player. He's playing professional basketball overseas, so everyone's already thinking he's going to be the one to beat, or you want to be on the team with this guy. You would think they hit the lotto the way they were acting when they got that text. Ace was like, I've been waiting for this moment. I guess when you're being just confined in this small house, and obviously the villa looks really huge, but I've seen like TikTok videos of like a real, I was gonna say a real person walking through, but you know, like a real video of it, and it's way smaller than what it looks on TV. So being confined in a confined environment for all those days, I guess basketball does sound like an amazing day to step outside of this damn prison, even though it's not a prison, but you get what I'm trying to say. So the guys are playing basketball, and it is hilarious to me because for some of you who might not know, I am a videographer, I'm an editor, I piece stories together, whether it's with travels. And by the way, shameless plug, I do have a travel channel, Travel with Silent. If you want, please go and subscribe to that channel. It'll be in the description box below. But anyway, so I'm into editing, videography, and piecing stories together. So when I see these slow motion shots of the guys lifting their shirts off, swinging the hat and glistening body, and it's like, I know what it took to get that. Like, Love Island is not getting that shot as they're actually playing. You have got to do those shots separately from the game. So it's just so funny to me how it's pieced together and how some people might not even realize or notice that that's all filmed separately and then just edited all together to make it look like a grand. It's different for a videographer to watch stuff sometimes. I guess that's the same thing like a musician. It'd be different how they hear music because they're hearing all the sound and how it was made and all that put together type of stuff. So after playing basketball, the guys sit on the bench and they're talking about their situations, and Nick and Pepe are talking about how they're in similar situations with this growing friendship they've had with someone throughout their journeys, and now it's growing into this relationship. And then we flash to Huda and Shelly talking, and Huda's all like happy. She's like, "Oh my God, I love what me and Chris have. It's like so calm, and I just say what I want, and he does it." Like she's basically saying, "I say what I want," and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do that for you, and it's no problem. We don't argue." And I'm just like, "Oh my God, like no, Huda, no, that is not what it's like. Chris is not telling you." And I'm thinking like, "Damn, Chris, you're not really telling her what's on your mind. This is not going to end well. This is Huda and Jeremiah all over again." Like, there's a pattern here with Huda, and I'm noticing, as I said in one of the previous episodes, or maybe I didn't say it in one of the previous reviews, but the minute, this is what it is seeming like, the minute Huda has sexual intercourse with a guy, things completely change, and she goes ballistic, berserk, and she wants to control, and she wants to my way, and I know it's a defense mechanism. I know it's an insecurity thing, and I know it's like a self-sabotage. We've talked about this on one of the earlier reviews when I talked about her situation with Jeremiah, but it doesn't make it right. So she's got to find a way to handle that, to fix that. And I don't know if it's going to be what it's going to be for her. I don't know if it's going to be therapy. I don't know if it's going to be her watching the shows back and realizing what she's doing, because maybe she doesn't really realize it, or I don't know what it is, but I hope she gets it fixed, because it really needs to be fixed, because in real life, you're going to constantly go through this situation in relationships. So as Huda and Shelly are talking, we go back to the guys, and Chris is telling the guys how Huda is combative and defensive, and he wants to be heard. He doesn't feel like he's being heard, and he's just going to have to speak to her. And, they're telling him, you're just going to have to tell her, tell her today how you feel. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to shit. This is not going to go well. I already know it's not going to go well. I was just thinking this in the last scene when Huda was saying everything was happy, happy, and now here we are. But whatever. Clark is telling, I mean, Clark, I always say Clark when I want to say Taylor. Taylor is telling the guys how he just loves, you know, waking up to Clark, going to bed next to Clark, touching on Clark, being around her 24/7. She's made him feel things he's never felt before. She's made him act in ways he's never acted before. And, you know, he's ready to close it off. The guys are screaming, how you going to do it? He's like, I want to do a cheerleading thing where we spell out her name, Clark, and I'm going to ask her, you know, do a speech and ask her to be exclusive. I thought that was adorable. It was a really sweet moment. It made me feel so happy. I've just been happy for Clark. I'm just so happy that he's found his way. So then the guys come back from the game and they're acting like their bodies are hurting, they're in pain, they're sore, ow, this and that. The girls are laughing. It's a funny little moment. All the couples are like kissing and I miss you, whatever. So Nick is like, Nick and Alandria are just sitting there side by side and he's like, well, did you miss me? And she's like, yeah. And everybody laughs. It was so weird. Like I say, I don't buy the Nick Alandria thing. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm not buying it at all. They're just doing this to win the competition at this point. They don't have no real feeling. There's no real feeling there. I don't see it, but I could be wrong again, but whatever. So then we go to everybody getting ready, and, you know, Taylor planned the whole, they're going to do a thing at the table. He's going to say he wants to do a toast. So he says that. He does a toast. He's like, I just want to toast everybody for allowing me to have this experience with you guys this summer. You know, I love you guys. Da 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 da. And so they go to cheers, and he's like, oh, wait, I forgot something. And he puts the drink down, and the guys, like, clap and get in formation, basically. And everybody's like, what the hell? Clark is like, what is going on? And Ace is like, give me a C, give me an L. And they're all spelling it out with their bodies. Pretty funny, especially when you're trying to do the R and the E at the end. Taylor did the E at the end. And they're like, what is going on? Obviously, Clark realizes it's her name that they're spelling out. So then Taylor does his speech, and he's like, you know, ever since we first met, the sparks just flew. It was like a dragon. The conversation was fire. And, you know, he's just talking about how he really likes her. Will you be exclusive with me? I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. I felt like my little brother grew up, and, you know, I'm just a sucker for love in general. It was just a really nice moment to see. She said yes, of course. Everyone's screaming and jumping, and it did, for me, feel slightly awkward because Alondra was right. Like, the view that we get is of Taylor and Clark, and Alondra is like in between them, but like behind them. So we're getting the view of that, and I'm like, oh my God. Whether she's over him or not, it's gotta be slightly awkward because you just had feelings for this person. Feelings don't just go away. They can go away, but there's gonna be still a lingering thing there. So I felt a little like, ooh, but I was happy for Clark in that moment. Clark, here I go again. I was happy for Taylor in that moment and Clark. So then, oh man, the moment I was dreading. Chris pulls Huda to talk, and he's like, remember the other day when I asked you for a kiss? Do you remember your reaction? She's like, yeah, I looked away or I looked around. And he's like, yeah, why did you do that? You know, why does it seem like it's a problem to kiss me in front of people? So she says she doesn't want to kiss him in front of people, and he's like, but you want to do it in the bedroom. And she's basically saying the bedroom is private and this is PDA, and I just don't want to do it in front of people. And he's like, but I'm confused. It's not making sense to me. And he's like, if you're not even comfortable giving me a peck in front of them, and she cuts him off, and he's like, let me finish. Like, he's looking very annoyed. And she's looking like, oh, okay. Which, oh my God, it's just so much there. She did the same thing with Jeremiah. Like, she becomes overbearing, overpowering Amaya Papaya words, overpowering and controlling and not letting them talk. But I'm glad he stood his stance. He's like, let me talk, let me say what I have to say. So he says it confuses me because even in the bedroom, we're next to them. Yes, it's in the dark, but we're still next to them. So the fact that you don't even want to kiss me out here, and if you can't kiss me out here, then what's the point of even having sex? And she's like, okay. And she gets up and goes, typical Huda. Like, and I hate it. I hate it because it's like, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. You're not communicating. You're just clashing and then walking away. It's kind of like a hit and run. You're not there to fix the problem or see what happened or try to help in some way. She just, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said a few minutes ago, it's going to take therapy or something to help her understand that, or I don't know. I just really don't know what to say. And it's so unfortunate because Huda deserves what she wants. You know what I mean? But if she keeps doing it, what she does, she's not going to be able to get what she wants because she's pushing it away. Man. So anyway, Chris and Brian talk, and he's like, what's going on? And Chris is like, yo, I don't think I could do this anymore. It's like every time I try to explain myself, I just get cut off and nothing comes out of it. And then he talks to Amaya. Chris talks to Amaya and explains the whole situation to her. I feel like she's embarrassed, to kiss me in front of everybody. Am I crazy? And she's like, no, you're not tripping. She's just probably going through the motions and she needs to calm down and whatever. I'm going to go talk to her. She goes, talks to Huda. She tells Huda, he feels like you're embarrassed to kiss him. And Huda's like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, I just want it to be private between us. I don't want to do what I did in that last situation. So now it's making sense. She's having almost PTSD with her situation with Jeremiah. It was so public. Everything they did was so public. And all the islanders basically, scolded her like she was a bad child. Like, no, you did this. You guys were doing this too fast and da-da-da-da-da. So now that's in her head, and now she doesn't want to do that with Chris. But the problem lies in communication. Why are you telling this to Amaya? Why couldn't you just tell that to Chris? If you would have broke it down the exact same way like that, Chris would have definitely understood. You know what I mean? Or helped you to understand that situation is different. You can do that here, and it won't be those repercussions, so to say, from the other islanders or whatever they come to agreement with. I fucked that all up, but you got exactly what I meant. So that's a problem. Communication, Huda. Anyway, Pepe gets the text. Everybody has to meet at the fire pit. Then Huda gets a text, and it's saying how America has been voting for their favorite couple. The couple with the least amount of votes is going home tonight. So then they make all the couples stand up, and the first couple, in no particular order, they said, was Shelly and Ace. They were safe. The first couple to be safe. I voted for... Who did I vote for? Did I vote for Shelly and Ace? Damn, now I don't remember. I think I voted for Chris. Yeah, I think I voted for Chris. It was between Chris and Shelly and Ace. So I voted for Chris. But I knew Shelly and Ace were going to be safe. Regardless of what has transpired through the season, where Shelly was getting a lot of hate at one point, Ace was getting a lot of hate at one point. They were annoying me at one point. I loved them at first, and then they were annoying me. I love them again. Regardless of all that, they have a solid fan base, in my opinion. They have a solid support system with America. They have their solid system. I think Nicolandria has their delusional solid system as well. And Amaya and Brian, I think Amaya has the solid foundation of support. So it's transferring into whoever she's with. They just want Amaya to stay. So they're going to always vote for Amaya and whoever she's with. That's how I see it. But I was surprised at the other stuff. I honestly thought Iris and Pepper were going to go home just because that was completely new. It didn't really seem like major sparks in the beginning. And I just thought they were going to be the ones to go home. But then we get back to the game. Oh, and then the game, it feels like they make you wait 5 minutes before they tell you the next couple that's safe. They're reading the text. The second couple that's safe is, and then you see all the music and the B-roll and the faces and the reactions, and this one looking that way and this one looking that way, and the fire pit and the smoke. It's like, just tell me who the damn couple is. So the second couple was Amaya and Brian. The one after that was Iris and Pepe. I was shocked. I was really shocked. I thought they would at least be the bottom two. So I was shocked. So that led me to think, oh my God, who's going to go home? But I was kind of thinking in that moment, it's probably going to end up being either Nicolandria or Taylor and Clark. Even though I said Nicolandria had that solid support system, I still said, well, maybe there's a chance they will be in the bottom two. So then the fourth couple that was safe was Chris. And then they make Clark and Taylor stand in front of the pit next to Alandria and Nick. So they're in the bottom two, and I'm like, oh shit, who is it going to be? But I'm like, it's going to be Taylor and Clark because Nick Alandria definitely had that support system. And the couple with the lowest amount of votes was Taylor and Clark. Unfortunate, but I'm glad he closed things off with Clark. It was a great episode for him. It showed all the growth that he experienced throughout the journey of the show. They're closed off, and I'm happy for Clark. I keep saying Clark every time that I want to say Taylor's name. I say Clark. I don't understand. Oh, but anyway, I'm happy for Clark and Taylor. I feel like they left on a high note. You come here. Of course, you come here for the money, but I'm assuming a lot of them come to find someone as well. So he found someone, and to me, finding the one is worth more than any amount of money in the world. So kudos to them. Everybody said goodbye and all that stuff. I almost teared up when him and Ace hugged, and because you grow to really love these people, and you're seeing all sides of them, and you're getting mad at them, you're getting annoyed at them, you're getting happy for them, you're getting sad for them, all these emotions. So to see them get emotional was emotional, and I'm like, oh my God, but it was dope. I can't believe we're ending. That's it. We're ending. We got 3 more episodes, guys. 3 more reviews. Well, I guess we have a reunion as well, too, right? I'd never watched Love Island. This is my first season. So, but as I said in the last review, I will be back, I'm pretty sure, for next year. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens Thursday. We're going to lose another couple on Thursday. I believe we can vote for our least favorite couple or our favorite couple again. I can't remember. I got to look at the app. Oh, I got to hurry up because it might be cutoff time. So yeah, let me know who you voted for, what you thought of this episode. What do you think about Clark and Taylor closing? Well, Taylor closing it off for Clark and then leaving on the same episode. What's your thoughts on that? You know how we do. Drop a comment and keep the conversation going. And I'll see you in the next review or in the comment section below. Peace.